and welcome to another episode of the Elbows Down MotoGP podcast. My name is Alex Higginson, and once again I'm joined by Jimmy Harrison. So we're in a slightly different setting this week. A couple of reasons why. First of all, Jimmy's got a very young puppy who is absolutely lovely, but as you've seen in the last few episodes, rather interruptive. So, and also I've got my dog with me, Tweed, for this episode, who's just sort of sleeping in the corner, which is very mellow in comparison. But the two dogs can't meet yet because of vaccines, that sort of thing. So we've decided to come down the pub. So that's where we are. Yeah. We decided to come to the new pub in York, which is the Old Grey Mare. The local brewery York have taken it over recently, so it's absolutely brilliant. And it's only £3.90 for a pint in here as well, so I'm very chuffed.
Depending on obviously the pint, because Alex is taking the piss out of me for having a lager that's almost £2 more. But anyway, that's another conversation. It's a lovely setting, and I'm actually really glad we've got a nice brick setting. Hopefully you guys like it as well. It is the week leading to the Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas. Again, that time of year. Just about spring time of year. Last year we had a race where, I don't think we knew that 5 people would be battling for the win last year, especially at a track that is regarded, as we both say, as a car track.
Yeah.
And we were treated to one of the best races of the year, maybe because the factory dukes weren't dialed into the year yet.
Yeah.
But we had Martin Vinales coming through the field to win, obviously, but we had Costa, Marquez leading, Martin led, Pecco. It was fantastic.
It was an amazing race, wasn't it?
And the most unexpected track imaginable. But people forgot that later on in the year, that Kota was that good. It really annoys me. But this year, I think we can expect something different. Well, I don't want to think that, but I think it probably is going to be.
I think it's very fair to say that we can expect a certain Spanish somebody to win the main race this year, and probably the sprint, and probably pole position as well. Yeah. I think it's fair to say. I think anyone that isn't making that prediction is quite frankly delusional and hasn't been following MotoGP for some time. Obviously, the last time we saw Marc Marquez win was on the Honda in 2021.
At this track,
yeah. At this track, yes, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Obviously, he won the other week. But yes, on the Honda at Kota in 2021, then out for injury 2022, where we had Enea Bastianini on Ducati win there. And then we've had 3 different winners since we last came to Kota. Since the last time Marc Marquez won at Kota, so it's going to be pretty interesting, especially because all of the people that we've seen win since Marc Marquez's last win are now on seemingly very uncompetitive packages. We've got Enea Bastianini and Maverick Vinales both on the Tech 3 KTM, which seems to be absolutely nowhere at the moment, which I think is fair to say. And then obviously we've got Alex Rins, who is arguably Yamaha's biggest struggler, aside from Miguel Oliveira, who is just the most unlucky man on the planet.
Yeah, I think the thing is, do you know what the weird thing is? The whole world was like, that'll be the end of Augusto Fernandez in MotoGP, and it was. But I'm pretty sure Augusto was doing just as well, if not better, at this stage last year, the second year of, admittedly, on the Tech 3 KTM. We'll see. With regards to Bastianini and Vinales won there last year, and the year before was Enea's. No, I've got wrong, haven't I? 2024.
Yeah,
2022. So but Alex Rins in 23. That was it. So we'll see. If there's one track, Bastianini said to me the other day that he really likes Kota. So if there's one of the tracks that he could excel, maybe we'll see. Especially when it comes to in the main race with tyre saving, we'll have to wait and see there. But that'll be the interesting part. If Marc, it's such a cliche to say, but the only person that's going to beat Marc this weekend is himself. Pushing too hard. He doesn't even need to properly push that hard. It's a left-hand track. He is the king of Kota.
He's the king of left-handed tracks.
Yeah.
And also just going back to the KTM for a second.
Yeah.
Obviously, last year we had a KTM on the podium, and it was a satellite KTM, albeit under the bum of Pedro Acosta.
Yeah.
So let's see what Bastianini can do on a bike that has won at Kota. Well, not won, but has gained a podium at Kota in the last year. So fingers crossed, we're not just having a dreadful run of bad fortune for Enea Bastianini. Hopefully he can find something with that bike, because he's just really struggling with it, though, isn't it? It's about the most polar opposite bike for Bastianini, for his riding style, and he said that himself. He said that he just doesn't suit the KTM, and that's where he is. So tough shit. Hopefully, Kota is where we're going to see him pick it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It is miserable seeing Bastianini do badly, because I really like him and he's always done really well. He was, I remember his first year. I mean, he was looking really, really promising when he was in the Avintia Ducati, and that was the year when I thought, oh my god, this guy, he's gonna. As soon as he went up to Cressini and won Qatar, I thought, here we go. And then when he got the factory Ducati seat, I thought, he's going to make Paco look a dick, and he didn't.
Yeah, well, he was injured, to be fair, but in the second year he won a lot of races, didn't he? And I mean, you could argue that some of the races he won last year helped Pecco not win the championship, but that's something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is sad. It is actually quite sad. The thing is, if you look at his whole career, Andy Bastianini, he's always had great machinery, though. He's never really. It's only now in Moto2, everyone, and if you've got a good team around you, and most people on the Calix back then, you could still do well if you were good enough. But when you get to MotoGP, he's obviously on a Honda now and again in the KTM Moto3. He was well looked after all his career, and then he went to MotoGP and had a Ducati. He'd already be competitive. This is the first time he's really had in the top class. Engine's different, chassis is different. This is GP, not feeder class. It's the first time he's had an uncompetitive package, and you really have to work. You really have to try and eke out the best. I mean, he did to a degree in Thailand. I know he finished in P8 or P9 thing. So this is really going to test his mental strength, and I'm hoping it's not going to be like what happened to Zarco when he went to KTM. Zarco had to pull out before even halfway through the year, and that was the end of that. Obviously Zarco wouldn't do that with Honda last year because he's a lot more mature. I don't know how that would work with contracts now, but it's looking not too great for the Tech 3 duo. But we'll see. I mean, Vinales won there last year.
Yeah.
Really, mid-pack is going to be really weird, I think. And Rins, obviously, on the Yamaha, he got through to Q2 from the toe of a certain Marc Marquez.
Yeah.
So it'd be great if you could do that again. What we'll see is that it's not really a Yamaha track anymore. It never really was a Yamaha track, to be honest. Kota, even when the Yamaha was winning races. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But I think Rins could potentially do better than Fabio if you're going to go down that alley.
Yeah.
But this is purely predictions episode, folks, because Kota's. It's not like when going to Jerez. Apart from Marc, I think it's quite unpredictable.
I was going to say, I think apart from the obvious, the rest of it's very unpredictable. I've written my predictions out today, and I'm not happy with the Moto2 ones. I can't get my head around who's going to do well, because obviously with Moto3, Moto2, a lot of things have changed. A lot of the Moto3 big names from last year have moved up to Moto2. A couple of them have moved up to MotoGP, well, 3 of them have moved up to MotoGP, and some of them aren't there anymore. And one of the big names in Moto2 that isn't going to be there this year, who won the race last year, was Sergio Garcia, who won by a considerable margin, and he led every single lap of the race.
It's easy to get. He's in the championship, isn't he?
It's insane. If you think about MotoGP and Moto2 are both missing their strongest riders. I mean, Garcia is by no stretch of the word the strongest rider in Moto2, but this time last year he absolutely was. I mean, his first Moto2 win was Kota, and then he just went on this I wouldn't say dominant championship sort of blazing trail, but he was definitely one of the strongest riders. And now we've not got him, we've not got Martin in MotoGP as well, who I would think probably would be putting the screws to Marc Marquez at Kota. But obviously we're not going to see him there either.
Maybe Qatar, but we talked about this last time. We'll see if it's Qatar because we really want him back. Back to Garcia.
Yeah.
I think he would have probably been a favourite for the championship. I think you could argue with the run that Gonzalez is going to be on.
Yeah.
And if Jay can find consistency, is there any wood to touch? No, there isn't.
There isn't. This table is not made of wood. Oh no, this is kind of wood. It's like wicker, isn't it? Oh no, it's kind of plastic wicker though.
That sums it up, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a hell of a difficult season for Garcia to come back and win the championship. That would be amazing now. Even though it's a 22 race series. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
You mentioned Gonzalez, Manu Gonzalez in Moto2. I haven't actually put him in my predictions, And it feels like there's a big hole missing there, and this is the reason I'm not very happy about my predictions, but I kind of am about Gonzalez. You look at his previous Cota results are not good. P15, P11, that sort of thing. He's not strong enough. And another rider going back to MotoGP very suddenly. Obviously, we've not got any kind of format to this kind of episode. We're just sort of spitballing. But a rider who has come second to Marc Marquez in MotoGP is obviously his brother Alex Marquez. Now you look back at his results at Cota, not an Alex Marquez track.
My prediction for the MotoGP race.
Do it.
I think that Alex will be with Marc again. I can see him tucking it. I can see him not being able to cope with Marc, but thinking he can because of the recent races, and potentially Pecco again being 5 seconds down the road behind Marc.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very drawn out.
This depends as well.
I think it's going to be a very drawn out podium. I think the podium's going to be covered by like 20 seconds.
Which is a surprise with that track.
Which would be,
like I said, last year was a one-off, massive one-off.
Yeah.
And of course, this depends if Pecco gets the 2024 bike back this weekend. I can't imagine that being that much of a pain for Ducati to give it to him.
Yeah.
Honestly, whether it be a different suspension, just what Alex Marquez had, the 24 bits of frame, bits of suspension, things like that. Other than that, it's the same engine anyway.
Yeah. The same engine. The only thing that's changed really is the suspension and a couple of electronics.
Yeah.
So according to that data, that's the anyway. So
you think if Ducati are happy with it, you're going to give to Pecco what he's asking for.
Yeah.
Frankly, why would you not?
I think this is going to be a low point in Pecco's championship charge.
Yeah.
I
think this weekend he really needs to tell himself to just swallow it this weekend. Just try and bring home 2 seconds. Or maybe it's not obviously trying to win, but
bring home a P4, P5.
Qatar
is not a strong track for Pecco.
Qatar is a lot stronger for him. So if he gets thrashed there, and then if he gets thrashed at RF as well, then he's in trouble.
And importantly, sorry to cut it off. But importantly, Qatar is not a strong Marquez track. Marquez.
No, it's not.
It's a strong Pecco track, not a strong Marquez track. So I think that prediction is going to be really difficult to make. It's going to be a really horrible one.
Pecco really needs to win in Qatar. He really needs to win in Qatar and stamp his authority on, I am still team leader. Well, I won't say team leader. I would just say I can still win. I can still beat you.
We've seen Pecco, 2021 World Championship, for example, when he really started choking. He made a few mistakes and then just kept choking, kept making mistakes, and then Fabio ultimately won the title. And we saw it last year with Pecco, where he'd make a mistake and then he'd be like, right, cool, let's just make more. Let's just, obviously not thinking that, but it's like with Pecco, he makes a mistake and then the mistakes keep happening.
And he did that. So, he did that in Cota before when he had a big lead, and that's how Alex wins. Alex wins rin. He run.
In
23, yeah.
Yeah.
Still can't believe that 23 Honda won a race.
It's insane, isn't it? Yeah.
It would be more insane if the 24 Honda won a race. That would have been ridiculous. But yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, especially if you look at last year in 2024, where both of the satellite Hondas scored higher in the championship standings than the factory ones. So, yeah. So I wanted to talk again about Moto2. Gonzalez has pretty shabby results there. It's not massively strong for him. I think that if we're going to be looking at somebody on pole, I think it's going to be someone who's got a bit of American backing. I don't necessarily mean Jay Roberts. I think it's probably going to be Marcos Ramirez for the American racing, for the Elephant American racing team. On pole, that's
a bold pole prediction.
It's a bold pole. Because the thing is the MotoGP one's boring. I mean, I actually did my MotoGP prediction. Pole, Marc Marquez. First, Marc Marquez. Second, Franco Morbidelli.
He's on a roll.
He's on a roll.
Yeah.
Third, Pedro Acosta. I think he'll be. If he's not third, this is my podium for. This is just for the main race. I'm not bothering.
Yeah, sure.
So I think Pedro. I think there'll be some mistakes made from other riders, same as we've seen. 2023 was a war of attrition. 2024 was just crazy. It was like a Moto3 race. So unpredictable wise, I'm going to throw Pedro Acosta into that. He's going to have got it written down as P-Aco. So, Paco.
Yeah,
Paco. So, I'm going to say Pedro Acosta for P3. Just because I don't want to see an old Ducati podium, even though it's one of the few times where we've only had one Ducati on the podium last year. Was the race last year. So that's pretty.
One thing I want to know, because obviously we can get by with MotoGP. We've got a lot of knowledge and the results and what the current state of it is. But when it comes to tech stuff, we're all out of it really. Which a lot of podcasts, if they're honest, will say the same. I'm guessing Acosta can turn up at Kota, even though it's a 2025 bike he's on, and the 2024 final setting he had before he raced. They can apply those settings to a new bike for all of that in theory, and see how it feels in first practice. Does it feel good, and then go from there? I mean, I don't know if it's changed completely because it's a new bike. Not sure. I mean, sure, they'll compare settings and then with every rider. Yeah. And we'll try and Vinales, he won't be able to do that, will he? Go from an Aprilia to a KT. I want to race last year. Can you? No, doesn't work like that.
No, last year's bike, please.
But then if you like the track naturally, I think things change anyway. So yeah, that's a good prediction. I think the cost that would be great for KTM. Goodness me, they need it. Yeah. If they can get a podium, it'd be wonderful for them. Just to stop at another Ducati in the podium, for goodness sake. I mean, I don't think. No, it's been Ducati 1, 2, 3 in every sprint and race so far, and that's 4 races in total.
Yeah. So. But think about this statistic as well. Last year, in Pedro Acosta's rookie season, he was the rider. He was the highest scoring non-Ducati rider. So he got 5 race podiums, 4 sprint podiums, and a bunch of top 5, top 6s, that sort of thing. So I think if anyone's going to put the screws to Ducati, it's going to be Pedro Acosta. I mean, everyone wants to say that. I see a lot of chatter on the internet at the moment. People just saying, "Oh, just crash." The thing is, how hard he was pushing last year, all the mistakes that he made, and now all the Keiths from Keithley have decided. With their Kawasaki in their profile picture, have decided that that's just what Pedro's going to do now, because obviously they know what they're talking about.
Well, they do, don't they? Better than
the Barris and Barnes with their BMW. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to Moto2. So Moto2, Ramirez, I said for pole. I don't really like my predictions. I think I'd like to see Moreira on the podium. I think Moreira could be really strong at Kota. I think that we could also have Alonso Lopez up there as well. Thank you. Alonso Lopez, I think, will be there. I never really rate Alonso Lopez. I'm not a big Lopez fan. I think he's too aggressive. I think he's got.
Well, I mean, away from.
I think
he's too aggressive, but he can be. Yeah,
it can be good, and I think
he's probably due a result soon.
He is due a result, and I think that also with Lopez is that he kind of has this patchy consistency, where some races he'll bin it from taking other riders out or whatever, or he'll just not score very well. But then when he's on it and it's a Lopez track, he's been strong at Kota before. I mean, obviously Lopez is one of the newer Moto2 riders. We've only had him for a couple of, sort of like 2.5 years really. So we don't really have that many results to go off, but I do think that Lopez can be pretty decent. And then Canet, I think, will win the race. But think about Canet last year, right? Canet had a disastrous start off the line, and then he ruined his tyres getting back up to the front. And he managed to get up to like P4, P3 sort of thing, and then it just sort of degraded from there, if I remember correctly. I wanted to talk about Dixon as well. Obviously, Dixon's the most recent race winner.
Dixon will get pole position.
Do you think?
I think Dixon will be on pole.
But his run of luck for me is just like at Kota is so bad. Think about it. 2023, he didn't make the start.
I forgot about that.
Because he crashed on the warm-up lap, and he crashed coming over the crest into turn 1, didn't he? Or something like that.
I think it was. It was out. It was all the S's that end the first sector. Coming out of there, I think he did.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was the same place Sam Lone set himself to the moon 10 years ago.
But it was a strange,
it was
a weird sort of. But anyway, so Dixon, I think, third time lucky. because you think back to 2023, that's what happened there. 2024, Dixon was doing really, really well, and then binned it at like turn 4. So I can't remember where he binned it, but yeah, he binned it, rejoined the race, finished like 20 something, and so I think that Dixon can be strong at Kota. We've seen him qualify well at Kota before. He just hasn't really brought it home with a decent result. So I think it's the third time looking for Dixon, but I haven't put him into my prediction. I don't know why I didn't put him into my prediction.
I think it's because you're nervous to do it.
I'm nervous to do it. Yeah.
The thing is, I think Jake will either get pole and not win, or he'll be on the front row or second row and win anyway. But we'll see. I'm going to take. I'm going to say that Moto2, and that's it. Just because we like Jake, I'm going to predict that. So, yeah. For my MotoGP predictions, I didn't really do that. Before we go Moto3 and then call this, isn't it? That's right. Well, then we'll call it after Moto3 because I don't know how much battery I've got left on my phone because I've been working all day and not charged it. I'm going to go. We'll go main race like you did. I'll go Morbidelli third, and I'll go Pecco second, and go Marc Marquez for the win. Yeah. For the sprint, I don't think it's impossible. But I mean, we won't make a direct prediction for the sprint. I would say Acosta will finish maybe third, and then I'll go Pecco second. Marc will win the sprint. That's it, folks. Sorry for that for MotoGP, but yeah, Moto3, Alex, what were your predictions?
Moto3, I'm actually quite chuffed with my Moto3 predictions. I think that we're going to have a really, really strong weekend from Rueda. And when I was doing my notes, I was looking through thinking, right, Rueda's doing really well at the moment, let's see where he was last year. And I was sort of like, I don't remember him last year. What did he do last year, apart from piss Akiayo off a few times? And then I was like, but he was on the front row. And then I looked it up. Yes, he was P2. He was P2 on...
Just Alex's Moto3 memory, there you go.
He was P2 on the grid, and then suddenly developed appendicitis overfucking night, and he had to sit the race.
Really weird.
I mean, it comes up on anyone, doesn't it? Anyone with an appendix, anyway. So yeah,
it happened to Carlos Sainz in F1 last year.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was around the same time.
It was, yeah.
It was around the same time because it was almost like it happened just after so Sainz had his, and then Rueda decided, that's a cool thing to do. And then didn't Sainz come back and win the race or something? Yeah. So he came back and won the race at Melbourne after having appendicitis. So everyone was like, maybe Rueda can have his operation and come back and win the race, and that didn't happen. No. So I think Rueda on pole. I do think Piqueras is going to win this year because last year he finished on the podium in his rookie year. I think Piqueras is going to win. He'll cut a corner somewhere and he'll win. And then I think we'll have Talv.
Thank you.
And then I think I just want to throw him in there because I love the guy, and I think that he has had some really, really good podium charges that have not really come into fruition. Is Joe Kelso in third place?
Kelso, I mean,
So Piqueras, Rueda, Kelso.
I don't know about Piqueras a bit.
Kelso's been strong at Kota before. He's led at Kota before as well, so let's just...
Top 5 for him, for sure, but he wasn't my prediction for the top 3. No offence to Kelso, but I think Piqueras will win. He was my prediction for the race win. He's on a high from getting away from touching the green. No, I don't mean that.
I wasn't here for last week's episode that you did with Keelan McNamara.
But he did touch the green, which is really weird because we've seen lots of bloody. Brad Binder at Silverstone is the first thing that comes to my mind. That was a podium. I'm pretty sure that was a podium at Silverstone 23 or was it 22?
23.
And
I'm thinking of Aston. It's the same thing.
It happened to him twice. It did. Was it Aston? Yeah, coming out of it was. Yeah. And touching the green just as obvious as Angel Piqueras was.
Less so. I think Piqueras was
more obvious. So and I still don't know why he kept the win.
As Matt Burt would say, Piqueras was in the car park.
But the TNT Sports guys, Hodgson was straight away he was like, touch the green, it was that obvious. You don't need to have the zoom of the dawn of slow-mo cameras. You can see it, and he still kept the win. Really weird that one.
Anyway,
but I still think he'll win it in the end. This is a track that's bad for some track limits as well. It's basically tarmac run off the whole way around, more or less.
Yeah, and then all that Sector 1 bullshit with the
Yeah.
You can cut corners all left, right, and centre in Kosa. And I really really hope the KRS does, and I hope he wins the race and cuts in the corner again. Just because. Oh.
But anyway, so I think he'll win. I think he won't clear off because you can't really clear off anyway, Moto3. But in that track, especially in that straight, I think Forest will bring it home as second.
Oh, I hope so.
Rueda will be third, but it will be an 8-pack. I don't think it's the type of track to have 18 bikes in the group. I'd love to be proved wrong, but it's too stop and starty really. I think for that being a train, but we've seen it before, so who knows? But yeah, I think the Kraus will take the win again. But our predictions have been smashed to pieces before, no doubt again. So there we go. P2. Yeah, we're saying for Rosata. Yeah.
Oh, for Rosata.
Yeah, and then obviously. Rueda picking up a sensible third. That's going to be really interesting. That's going to be a tight one for that challenge. It's going to be Rueda versus Bucaras, and I think Akiyaya will really not expect nothing less from Jose, because Rueda's had a lot of chances now with the best, most organised team in that class.
I think one of the more interesting predictions to make is who David Munoz is going to piss off this weekend. apart from, I nearly said Jose Bote then, but he's not racing for them anymore. But who is Munoz going to take out? So it'll probably be Scott Ogden. I mean, I don't think he's actually taken Scott Ogden out yet. I mean, let's face it, Scott gets taken out. All the time, doesn't he?
Scott doesn't deserve that. Scott's had enough of that this year already.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't deserve it at all.
Scott will get a result this year.
Scott will get a result this year. He just needs to stay away from everyone else on the group.
That means you smash the pole lap record, Scott, and then you clear off.
Yes, just clear off.
Just get away. Like Ralph Fernandez 2020 Moto3 style. Just
don't go anywhere near Almanza. Don't go anywhere near Munoz.
Or Riccardo Rossi, especially in qualifying.
Yeah, Ricky Rossi. But yeah, don't go anywhere near Almanza, because if he's not taking you out, you're taking him out.
And then, by the way, that was ridiculous, folks. We mentioned it with Keelan last week for the review. And a little catch up anyway with Keelan, which is a good friend of the pod, but that was a ridiculous move from Riccardo Rossi. And then to immediately blame Scott Ogden.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just barged you off the track. What are you doing?
I think Ricky Rossi's argument would have been, well, I was on the inside anyway, and you weren't on the apex. It doesn't matter.
You're just making up for having a shit name. Because let's face it, anyone called Rossi in racing has got big expectations behind them.
And yes, just a man of acts that might listen and say Alexander Rossi in car racing, but that's car racing.
If you're a bit shit and you're called Rossi, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? So
there was also Louis Rossi in Moto3 who won.
There was Louis Rossi.
Won the 2012 Moto3 Grand Prix at Le Mans. Of course, I know that. I'm sad. And he won.
That is sad.
But he won in front of the French crowd in Le Mans and pissing wet through, and they went bonkers for him. Another he won.
I remember watching that one. Yeah. I've forgotten about Louis Rossi.
But yeah, so I don't think it's going to have a check the weather, because I don't think I remember a MotoGP race at Coast that was wet. But yeah.
No.
If we predict now, folks, it'll be dry. It might rain, because we're always wrong when we predict rain. So if we predict sun, it might rain.
My predictions for Moto2 then would change. If it's going to be wet, Arbolino. Yeah.
Wet coast, I'll give you a tenner if it's wet in coast.
You'll give me a tenner if it's wet in coast? Cool, let me get onto the Met Office and I'll have a word.
Yeah, there we are, folks. So I hope you've enjoyed this mini episode, huh?
Yeah, it's a little episode. We're down the pub and we're going to get some more beer because I've run out and I'm thirsty.
Bit of a plug here for our friends. You know who you are.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Gazza.
That's it. And it's a certain Ryan. Yeah. Grassroots Grand Prix. Keep doing it for what the young guns do. We love you for it.
Absolutely, indeed we do. And I also really like the free hoodie and the free merch that we got as well, which is much appreciated. But yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us once again for the Elbows Down MotoGP podcast. We'll see you all again for our America's Grand Prix debrief next week. When hopefully we've got some wildly out of place. Our predictions were completely wrong, and Marc Marquez doesn't win at all, and Ralph Fernandez does instead, like you said in our first test. But thank you ever so much for watching. We'll see you all again next week.
Bye, folks.
Toodaloo.